The goal within the system will be to eliminate as many unnecessary jobs as possible while focusing on and sharing those remaining tasks that provide actual benefit to others rather than it being about separate companies trying to fend for themselves and make as much profit as possible. In Equilibrium, each citizen can earn credit and gain merit in various fields at once. Higher levels of experience can be gained in multiple fields of interest simultaneously. Work can arise to individuals local to their environment through versions of a collaborative intelligence app. With proper training, anyone can do anything. We should be able to fill multiple roles at a time, local to our environment. As a standard practice, everyone should be caretaker to some form of garden where they are routinely producing excess surplus. This is the foundation of one working in their local environment. Let's imagine some of the many roles that an individual can fill simultaneously and be credited for throughout the day, starting with law enforcement. There is only one law, and that is to never initiate aggression and physically violate another's consent. Everyone that exists has the responsibility to uphold this law. Knowledge of this principle and the right to act to defend oneself or another is not something we should have to ask for others to come and provide. We should not have to wait for uncaring members of their own breakaway civilization to eventually arrive to then have to explain ourselves. I have seen cops arrive and twist the scene to support whoever they decide is right regardless of facts. That law enforcement is in no way a perfect science, and in scarcity-based systems, police are little more than servants of the state. They are not aligned with upholding universal law in every case as they should be. A new type of culture can emerge simply by teaching the people what the one universal law of civility is and the consequences for breaking the only law. In this other place, there is full and complete freedom of speech. Along with freedom of speech comes the ability to move toward or away from any influential source at will. All emotions and all speech are acceptable and tolerable, as everyone knows the line and that there are no justifications to cross the line of physically violating another's consent for any reason. No amount of words that anyone makes up are a good enough reason. No system failures for people to be physically removed from their shelter exist, such as rent or property tax. So there is no reason and no excuse to initiate aggression and physically violate another's consent. We may each have a role in providing law enforcement services and upholding the law local to our environment. This is not a vigilante role. Anyone providing any type of law enforcement services would be operating alongside an alerted network of accountability through a collaborative decision-making process. This is like the functions of your courtroom happening very quickly and decided upon by a group that is aiding in decision-making. Decisions can be made in minutes rather than in months, and fair outcomes can be reached at the time and place of the incident itself. There would be tools required to make this process function legitimately. For example, in order to provide any form of law enforcement, a tool to visually record and even connect live to a network of decision-makers must be used first. So even to access one's ability to provide law enforcement, they must access tools that connect with the group of decision-makers. You would be combining the 911 operator and the jury into orchestrators of events. Each individual that is providing any type of law enforcement would be working to maintain a high level of merit for their personal account. Merit would be a type of trust factor that citizens work to maintain and would be a determining factor in whether an individual can be credited for certain types of work, such as law enforcement. Flag Resolution Department. A flag resolution department would be a series of roles similar to being a detective. All status states that are requesting aid or resolution in a matter could have outstanding issues that still need attention. In the app, these might be flags of varying color that have gone unchecked. Different colors might represent different urgency levels. These flags could be anything from unsolved mysteries to criminal cases that were never solved. Credit can be earned by resolving any unresolved issues in various categories. The future of journalism might come in the form of an information and fact-checking language. As public information becomes known, those who share that information could be credited for doing so. A chain of accountability can be created where informational sources and information is checked for accuracy and legitimacy at each point along the chain of transmission. Each would check the legitimacy of the information from the prior, and each would be working to maintain honesty to have a high level of merit in the field of sharing of public information. Influential sources should not be allowed to hide behind the names of nations or corporations. Technologies should be provided that allow us to have complete freedom of speech and to have the ability to block all except or permanently block certain people across multiple platforms. If anyone is talking violently about another, then let them. They can be blocked, and now various parties are aware of their mental state and can be provided with an alert if it is that severe. It may be more dangerous to silence people than to just let them speak and be voted down into an abyss of not appearing due to low approval ratings. Also, in present scarcity-based systems, we are made to be vulnerable in countless ways. But with the technology provided to all citizens in these advanced cultures, then it would be incredibly difficult to harm another since we are no longer forced to be vulnerable. When others get close enough to our community or our residents, they would be asked to share information about themselves electronically and automatically once within a radius. They could be given extra credit for doing so. If they choose not to, then an alert is sent as to an unidentified person approaching. There can be layers of technological resources keeping communities and individuals safe. Another major role is in healthcare. We will be the providers of these things for our own at all times because other people are just too busy. They are busy with their own. Even when it is their job to provide these things, they are still just too busy to give anyone proper care. I'm not saying they are too busy because they are out there saving everyone's lives all day. No, they are too busy in their mansions. The work they do is not special. The education they receive to do that work is not special. It is all being held for ransom. A child could learn the basics and be instructed to perform most medical procedures on their own in one day. Want to bet? I'll bet you that with proper education and proper instruction, a child could learn to perform almost any medical procedure in one day. Not that they should. The point is that almost anyone can do almost anything. And it's like that with almost all professions. They take our childhood with random indoctrination for almost 20 years, and then we learn all functions of a job in one day. You can omit the 20 years of random indoctrination that intentionally sets us at a disadvantage. In fact, I believe you owe reparations to anyone you have done so to. All that time could have been used to allow individuals to begin learning real-world skills. Did they ever once mention a single aspect of the system they would then send us into? I don't remember even a whisper of a hint about anything that pertained to anything about the system that I would then be forced into, do you? Anyway, back to the mess of your healthcare system. I do not have access to healthcare in this scarcity-based system. These people do not seem to know what healthcare is or should be. What they call healthcare has been abducted and is being held for ransom. What they have available is not healthcare anyway. It is emergency care after things are too late. They have no preventative healthcare. Actual healthcare would start in the home with tools and feedback about one's health and diet. There would be access to a database of information and advice from live networks of assistants that are always available. The next step from in-home healthcare would be structural or community healthcare, meaning the structure or the community has the next level of healthcare tool access in the form of a room that is accessible as a tool for all within that structure or community. From there would be entire healthcare facilities or even cities based upon the advancement of healthcare. But you don't have that, do you? Maybe one day. For now they have the bloodletting in the streets and the random chaos that they have orchestrated. So we would be the healthcare providers in these other systems because they are just too busy. But it's not about that. For the most part, these strangers who would gladly cut us unnecessarily to get the money for a new boat can just back up off us because they don't care about you or your body to begin with. This is why we need access to the tools more than other people, but other people should be available at varying levels of healthcare when needed. It will lighten the load on all healthcare providers when we are all healthcare providers. And we are. We all know healthcare intrinsically and from what we have been taught, or else we wouldn't be alive. We are all managing our healthcare fine on our own. Our healthcare and access to higher levels of healthcare tools should not be a gift from the state. These things should be in the home, and then in community, and so on. These things should never be held for ransom over the people as they are in scarcity-based systems. Healthcare should not even be a for-profit industry. Rather, it is something that we have access to at all times as contributors. We are making our contributions, and the system recognizes that, and it provides healthcare as part of our rights in the system. By now, there should be advancements in technology and marvels of modern science that we should be bearing witness to that bring many healthcare technologies into the home or community and make them accessible to all. But no, they have no science here. They have no scientists. They have no healthcare providers. They have no healthcare system. They have an establishment. I have multiple examples now where not following a doctor's orders saved me from unnecessary procedures. They are eager to do procedures so they can make money off of your body at whatever cost to you. And I have multiple examples where I properly diagnosed myself before having to go through the doctor to access the resource they hold. Like one time I told the doctor, I have GERD or gastroesophageal reflux disease from the pills you gave me. The doctor looked at me and said, "You have GERD." I said, "I know it's from the pills you gave me." They should never have given me those pills. Those pills gave me brain zaps that lasted for years. Every time I would turn my head too fast, it would go zap. Also, on this same doctor visit, they were trying to convince me to get surgery on my spine, or else I might have problems walking. I realized they are a for-profit mafia, and I ran out of there on my own 2 legs. Thank you very much. Oh, the stories I could tell. My few encounters with the healthcare industry here were with anything but healthcare professionals. They are not professional at all. They are more like butchers. This is another example of why the back room should be abolished. The back room is corporations taking individuals into back rooms to talk them into deals they may not fully understand. If a window like a live stream connected to one support group, then it may be possible for someone to notice and hit the big red bullshit button. The people of this scarcity-based system do not know what healthcare is. Healthcare is a daily practice that takes place in the home first. Tools and guidance should be provided to aid people in taking care of themselves and others. We can level up in this field and provide varying levels of service to others and be credited for doing so. Healthcare is mostly free in abundance-based systems by ending information and resource brokerage. Instead, there is access to tools, and we are our own healthcare providers, along with information and guidance, with the aid of healthcare or emergency rooms that should be available and clearly marked throughout communities. These healthcare or emergency rooms can come equipped with the latest equipment needed to provide healthcare procedures. In case of an emergency, a patient can be rushed to a nearby emergency room or help can come to the patient. Orchestrators may be involved and decide mid-event who should go where. An alert would be sent to the nearest healthcare providers of varying levels. Some higher-level healthcare providers would be able to utilize more advanced tools within the emergency room, and they would be able to perform higher-level procedures. I will always miss my ex-girlfriend's cooking. She made the best home-cooked meals. Since then, I have been forced to survive off of the dollar menu at fast food establishments. It is the structures that we live in, along with systemic rules that we follow, that are making it so we are being reduced to eating only what the scarcity state feeds us. Well, at least I am. Grocery stores are still there, I guess, if you know how to cook, which I don't because I went to public schooling. But the lines wrapped around the fast food places are getting longer and longer. Sometimes I wonder if new generations still eat home-cooked meals. So there may come to be community kitchens. What if you could get credit to use the community kitchen once a week and make food for the community, or even just randomly without being on a schedule, like once a year? Some may want to use the community kitchen to feed others every other day or so because they enjoy cooking for others. This community kitchen can even be automated at times for certain recipes. We can pre-plan community meals each night so that the kitchen in the structure knows what to make. A menu of what is presently available would be provided as an app. In this way, we could have access to home-cooked meals in our local environment and not need to travel far to get it. Although if you saw that a community kitchen was going to be hosted by a well-known chef, you could always travel to that community. Imagine then just logging into a room at your room level and ordering from the menu, and it can be brought to you, or there would be various restaurants or different atmospheres to chillax. Let's say that the smallest room for shelter is 100 square feet. These might mostly be used by children, as it would be nearly impossible to not do something useful for others throughout one's life and then have the ability to level up one's room account. All citizens start out with a level 1 room account or access to any unoccupied room classified as a level 1 room, which are usually about 100 square feet. Level 2 could be 200 square feet, level 3, 300 square feet, and so on. It's possible that rooms with special artifacts or decoration might require a higher caretaker level, based on merit and caretaker grades. So a single structure can have varying room level rooms within it regardless of location. So let's say you have a level 4 room account. It may be possible to split it up into a number system so that level 4 access can be broken up into the access of 2 level 2 rooms, or a level 3 and level 1 room. So assuming you are at level 4 room access and your home residence combines into a level 3 room with no attachments, then your remaining level 1 room access would grant you access to any unoccupied level 1 room. You could claim the room just by walking in and logging into it. You could then stay there for as long as you wanted to, but when done with the room, it is asked that you log out. Let's say you want to stay in the community for a while. You decide you would like to help out with some local gardening so you can meet people and earn credit while getting exercise. Local community gardens would be one of many available tasks you could partake in to earn credit, and all available tasks and their locations would be clearly visible in the collective database of available work. You have some things like this now. What the difference is the idea of ownership. We are strangers in a strange land in present systems, unwelcome everywhere. Things own us and we own nothing. This causes chaos. We should have different relationships with the tools in the environment. Through training courses, we should have access to available work to be able to see it and claim it without being vetted first. This is not to say everyone can do all jobs. Each would have to pass certification, and each would then have to level up their personal account and maintain high levels of merit within each field that they wish to continue to work in. Here are some more job types. Distribution center work. Distribution centers would be like the future of your large grocery and retail stores today, only they would integrate and connect with the community as functioning tools with multiple purposes. You could turn a piece of scrap into a distribution center and get credit for it. An app can scan debris or even wildlife and advise on credit potential or if you should just leave it alone. Distribution centers would be both receiving and dispensing various goods. Usually located near major highways or main transportation channels, these centers of commerce should always be accessible. Some parts should always be open and available to provide access to goods even overnight. Electric carts can be provided to aid in transporting goods to or from the distribution center. There would be many relationships that could be had with a local distribution center, and various roles would be available for working within them. Construction and engineering might evolve into individual to local and communal to regional works. We should have the right to work on our own structures and not always to have to conform to a code. The only code should be that of safety and that it is never okay to build things with the intent of harming others. In a calmer civilization, people may choose to spend more time on their own structures than on communal structures. They may add upgrades or additions to their residential structures to make them miniature production units, or they may make their residence into works of art. This should be allowed without hindrance, and in many cases, credit can be given for the production capability upgrades or aesthetic upgrades. Structures may come with notes or instructions when changing hands. We can invent job types all day: drone and bot operators, mappers, room categorizers, and even things like educator, mentor. Higher-level mentors can be given extra credit for every apprentice that arrives to learn their craft. More apprentices can be extra helping hands in a task, and each can earn experiential credit and get a small percentage of regular credit or currency for participation. We could be continually recreating or updating each industry.